What the going on this team, Jerry?
Bury him! Bury him!
Jerry, TJ Watt.
He is the best defensive player on the planet.
Go! Yes! Yes! We're going to fire! Steelers fans! Bang! Run it down their throat!
No! That's not a penalty!
Game over! Game over! Don't ask me to do nothing! This is nothing!
He's aggressive.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Steel Here podcast, where I'm your host, Kevin Adams, alongside my partner in crime jersey, Jerry. Jerry Don, first time in 6 months, Pittsburgh Steelers play a game this week. I mean, it's going to be a blast. We just have to start the show off with some bad news that we just got 10 minutes before we started recording here. It's Tuesday, about 9:30. Will Howard, who I was most excited to see play football this preseason, has a broken bone in his hand. He's going to be out at least 3 to 4 weeks.
You got to relax. Let's start there. Let's just say you just got to relax. All right, just calm down. Everything's gonna be all right. Before we started the show, he's never gonna play for the Steelers. He'll never dress. He's never gonna throw a ball for the Steelers. That's it. It's over. Will Howard has the Steelers done. Just relax. He's all right.
The logic is sound, though. Like, let me lay this out for you the easiest way that I can, because I tweeted it and it's getting a lot of pushback as well. People are like, it's an overreaction. I don't know that it's an overreaction for this reason. Will Howard is a 6th round draft pick. If the Steelers take a quarterback this coming spring, when the draft is in Pittsburgh, in the first round, that quarterback will get infinitely more chances than Will Howard will to be the quarterback of the Steelers. Teams don't just draft first-round quarterbacks and then play 6th rounders over him. So his best chance to show what he had was this preseason. Missing 3 to 4 weeks means he'll be 3rd on the depth chart at best, unless Skylar Thompson jumps him and they move Will Howard to, the practice squad, something like that. He'll never dress one time this season, barring injury. Mason's ahead of him. Skylar Thompson now will jump him, and Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. So he's not going to play at all this year. They take a rookie quarterback next year. That guy will already be ahead of him. And so now you're looking at, will Will Howard ever see the field for the Steelers? That's not a crazy thing to say. That's legitimately not, because in the NFL, Jerry, first round, any player gets infinitely more chances. Look how long the Steelers held on to Kenny, even when they knew their better chance at winning was with Mason Rudolph. They still gave Kenny all the chances he had.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree, yes, to a certain extent. There's a couple ways Will Howard plays. One, Rodgers gets hurt or he stinks and the Steelers decide to bench him by week 5, 6. Mason comes in, he stinks, now Will Howard's your quarterback. Another way is who says that Rodgers is one and done? Because I've been the only person that has said this, recently. This could be a 1-2 year stint in Pittsburgh. You don't know.
Sure.
He's a guy that you just never know what it is. He could say, "Yeah, this is probably it for me. I'm done." What if he gets a taste of that AFC Championship game and he falls short and he's like, "Fuck, I got one more run in me." You don't know. And the third option is, why are you so quick to say the Steelers are drafting a quarterback with their first round draft pick?
I mean, if they go another year without drafting a quarterback in the first round, Jerry.
I know, but listen, what does it show? What does their history show? They just don't like to do it.
Well, I think that's because
I don't know.
They were going into this season with the one last run here. Aaron Rodgers fits the bill of that. He doesn't cost a lot of money. They don't have to leverage their future to bring Aaron Rodgers in. It's not going to crush your salary cap. So all of those things make sense. I think it would be insane if we go through yet another season without drafting a quarterback in the first round. I think that's fucking insane, Jerry.
I know it's crazy, but what have they shown us this last 5-6 years? They're willing to.
They took Kenny in the first round.
I know, but I'm saying, like, recently it seems like it's shifting a little bit to where, like, they're okay with a veteran quarterback with guys like, Russ and now Rodgers and bringing Mason back. I mean, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Listen, It was probably a little bit of an overreaction, but I see where you're coming from. I
I
mean,
would be
it's
willing to
nuts.
bet heavily he does never gets to start an NFL regular season game for the Steelers. Now knowing this,
Wow.
Jerry, he's not going to get to play this year. Next year, do you not think that if they do draft a rookie quarterback next year, they're going to want to see that guy a lot more next preseason than
Oh
Will
yeah,
Howard?
100%, 100%.
How
Yes,
hard would it be to say, okay, Will Howard jumps our first round rookie quarterback on the depth chart next season?
Yeah, no,
I mean,
you're right.
it's not going to happen. It's done. That's it. That's
I,
the end of the Will Howard era, and it's sad for me to say that.
I hope not, because you know what? I really think he could be really good.
I wanted to see him. That is the number one guy I was most excited to watch play football these next 3 weeks was Will Howard, because I knew that he had such a small window to being able to be something maybe the Steelers build around. Now you can't go into next year not knowing what he is and not take a quarterback early. So anyone they take is going to be higher than round 6, I would imagine. They're going to give them more chances than Will Howard. It's just, that's my opinion on it. It could be wrong. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. The clock's still ticking. It's never going to stop. So we'll find out eventually.
Let's look at the rest of the injury report. I mean, camp is finally, they're hitting now. It's pads. They're having padded practice. So injuries are going to start to pile up. We announced Will Howard. That one sucks. That really hurts my heart. Alex Highsmith, Jerry, another groin injury. Another groin injury for Alex.
You can't get away from the groins.
This is in 2021. He had a groin injury, a groin strain. 2023, he had the groin injury that he played through, but was not as effective in 2023. Last year, he gets hurt in camp with the groin injury. He nurses it through camp, misses 3 games after re-aggravating it in the season, and then he hurts the groin again this season. Whatever his conditioning is and stretching, whatever the hell goes into a groin, he needs to up his workload a little bit there.
He's got to do some of these, something, something stretched.
Yeah, it's embarrassing though. These injuries, the Steelers deal with these. How long did TJ deal with the groin injuries?
Yeah.
It feels like the Steelers deal with so many more soft tissue and groin injuries than any team in football. And I mean, I hate to pile on a guy like this, the strength and conditioning coach, but what the fuck is this guy doing, Jerry? Last year he has Russie pushing a sled.
Who is he?
Some guy from Boston College, some strength and conditioning coach from Boston College. I guess he's from Mercer, which is a little bit north of Pittsburgh, about an hour and a half north. But I mean, this guy, if it falls on him, which I've tweeted about this type of stuff, and a lot of like physical therapists and people will comment back like it comes down to the strength and conditioning program. I mean, we got to figure this the fuck out, man.
Yeah, I mean, I got no idea who the guy is, but he's clearly not doing his job the right way. I mean, every camp, it seems like so many of these injuries happen, and it's just these soft tissue injuries nonstop year after year. So who knows, man? They got to switch something up. But I'll tell you what, man. There's a guy I want to talk about really quick, Kevin. I think this guy is going to be really special. I think Jalen Ramsey's the truth, bro. I think he's lights out, bro. I really do. Just hearing some of the players in their press conferences talk about him, and reporters talk to him, bro. He's different. I think this was the missing piece the Steelers needed. I really do on the defensive side of the ball. I think they beefed up the D line. Great, we need that. Stop the run. But this guy is a guy who's gonna allow that pass rush to eat, bro. He looks really good when he goes up against DK. And listen, DK is a true wide receiver one of the best in the league. I'm not saying DK's top 3, top 4, but he's in that top 10 for sure, easily. Dude, he put the clamps on him, bro, a lot.
He's a dog. And I've read a ton. I've been to camp like 5 or 6 times at this point. I've read a ton about what the reporters are saying about him. He brings like a fire to that defense. He's always jawing. He's always out there jawing, Jerry. He's giving it to him. And I think that's the type of, you need that swagger. You need the Joey Porters. You need the James Harrisons. You need those kind of guys. And I don't think Minka was one of those guys. I think when you replace someone with Minka, like someone like Jalen Ramsey, you're going to get some dog out there. If you're going to be the highest paid defense, and you're going to have studs everywhere. You need somebody that fucking rallies the troops. And as much as we love TJ doesn't always strike me as the most vocal of leaders. It just doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to be out there talking shit, revving the engines for everybody. Jalen Ramsey is definitely that guy. Yes, it's not even a hot take for you to say he's the truth. He's been fucking elite for 8-10 years in the league. It's just finally we have a guy that we trade for later in his career that still has some tread on the tire, that can still be elite, and we're not catching him at the tail end of his career when he has nothing left in the tank.
Yeah, no, he definitely has some left. He got a couple of years left in him, 2-3 years easily left in him. It seems like, at least to me, from what he looks like in camp. And I know it's just camp, and we got to see it on the field this year. But like you said, in the press conferences, the guys talk about him, how he talks a lot of shit. It's like, you know what? Maybe they needed a guy like that, dude. Because now, the culture there, it seems to shift this year to like super competitive.
Right.
And in years past, it's competitive for sure. Right. But the guys are talking about how now it's like shifted a little bit with adding guys like Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith. These guys are talking shit. I mean, maybe that's the little spark they needed.
And that is exactly who Jalen Ramsey is as a player. And it's a lot different. Just talking shit and you can't back it up is one thing, or talking shit and then when game day comes, you don't perform. You get a guy who can back it up and talk shit. I love that. I have nothing wrong with players that talk shit. Don't get it twisted. Sometimes it irritates me when guys are talking shit and they suck or they don't do their job. At times George Pickens would talk shit and he would have 3 catches. That's the type of stuff that would irritate the fuck out of me. But when you can back it up, you talk all the shit you want. I love it. The other players on that team feed off of that type of stuff, and I love to hear that. So yes, I mean, Jalen Ramsey, I'm incredibly excited to see him. We won't see him likely much in the preseason, so it's going to be a month before we see him play football. But you're right, he could be a missing piece because we haven't had a true, legitimate lockdown number 1 cornerback in a long, long time. It has been so long since we've had somebody you can rely on that they just play man, and that's an island. We're not worried about him. He's going to lock you out.
Yeah, it's like, who? Ike Taylor?
That's how far back you could likely go. Yeah, I mean, Joe Hayden towards the end of his career. I mean, for the first year, maybe second year, I thought Joe Hayden still had a lot of left in the tank. But you're getting Jalen Ramsey when he's only 30 years old. Like, there's still a lot of ball left in there. Like you said, 2-3 years is great.
People talk about him like he's 33, 34, 35 years old. He's 30.
I know. He came into the league young, so young.
Yeah.
And he was great. That year when the Jaguars beat the Steelers in that AFC divisional round, he was great. I mean, yes, AB cooked his ass. We've put 42 on him. Like, we hung a lot of points on them, but that season he was phenomenal.
And, I mean, AB is different, bro. AB is different.
Exactly. That was the height of the Killer Bees era. So they hung it on everybody. The defense just couldn't stop shit. Yeah. Back to the injury. So Dean Lowry, nose tackle, tore his ACL. He'll miss the year. Not a huge loss. Jonnu Smith left practice with knee soreness. He'll be fine. Tomlin said just bumps and bruises. Joey Porter Jr. practiced for the first time in a few days. Calvin Austin's banged up. He hasn't practiced in a few days. Those are nothing major aside from the Will Howard injury. So that's good at this point in camp. We got to get through this preseason game this weekend with minimal injuries. That is always the number 1 priority in preseason and in training camp. Can we minimize the injuries? But Jerry, you want to look at, let's look at the depth chart.
Yeah, let's do it. Cause it came out today in the morning.
First depth chart released today. So nothing too crazy. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback 1, Mason Rudolph 2, Will Howard 3. He'll get jumped by Skylar Thompson. Jalen Warren, starting running back. Caleb Johnson is 2. Kenneth Gainwell is 3. DK, followed by Scotty Miller. Calvin Austin, starting wide receiver, followed by Roman Wilson. There's a guy behind him I really like, Jerry, and he's starting to make...
Rock Taylor?
Yes, Jerry.
He's good.
Rock Taylor, I hate to get excited about undrafted players, but shit, man, you could see early on when they brought in Jalen Warren as an undrafted free agent, he had pop. You could see it. There are just guys that stick out. It's like, I don't give a fuck if he was drafted in the 3rd round or undrafted. Yeah. They make plays. You can just see it when you watch them play football. And Rock Taylor, Jerry, he makes plays. And it's not just making plays against like bad cornerbacks or, 3rd string guys. He's doing it any chance he gets. He's making contested catches. His athleticism is insane. I really, really hope that guy makes the fucking cut.
I hope so too. I think he should. I mean, listen, I got I got nothing against Scotty Miller. I got nothing against the guy. Good dude, veteran, been in the league for a while now. Still got that burner speed. I'd take Rock Taylor over him in a second.
So would I. And do you know why? Because you have Scotty Miller, but you have two other Scotty Millers. You have Calvin Austin, you have Roman Wilson. You have two other Scotty Millers. I don't need fucking 3 Scotty Millers out there. I'd rather have someone that's taller, more athletic, that is at the beginning of their career that you're taking a flyer on. You know, AB, 6th round wide receiver. No one thinks much about that, you know, so you never know. But when you see a guy who looks like that against the ones in training camp, I want to see how he performs in the preseason game. At this point, losing Will Howard, I'm probably the most excited to see Rock Taylor. That's going to be one of the most I'm excited to see at this point. I think that guy could be something, Jerry.
I think if you polled the fan base who, you know, is in tune with the Steelers and follows training camp and sees all the tweets and listens to all, you know, the podcasts and whatnot, I think if you polled all those Steelers fans, 100% of them would rather see Rock Taylor than Scotty.
Without a doubt. So then it's just going to come down to, how do the Steelers approach this? Are they really going to change the way they look at things? Or are they going to go back to the old and try and hide him on the practice squad, which is possible. You move down. Robert Woods is also wide receiver. Technically, he's the 3rd wide receiver, but he's starting wide receiver, Robert Woods.
He hasn't looked good from what I've seen.
He's a little bit slow. Ben Skoranek is right behind him. Ben Skoranek will make the roster, in my opinion. His special teams contributions alone will get him to make the roster. Tight end, you have 2 starting tight ends. They're both listed as tight end 1. It's Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. So there is no 1-2. They're both listed as tight end 1. Then you have Darnell Washington. You have Connor Hayward back there, who did not have a great day today. Connor Hayward, friend of the show. We've had him on. Rodgers, I don't know if you saw this, Jerry. Rodgers threw a rocket over the middle of the field, and it was such a bullet. Connor Hayward couldn't get his hands up fast enough. It smacked him square in the face mask, deflected, and then Patrick Queen intercepted it.
I didn't see it. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it got a lot of shit on Twitter. So, you know, he's a guy, the fan base doesn't really love Connor Hayward. We know him. He's a nice ass dude. I always pull for that guy.
Yeah, great dude.
I think he's a good special teamer. He makes significant plays on special teams. So
he does. I give him that. He's a special team. He's really good on special teams.
Right. So I'm not gonna discredit what I think he could bring. He is listed as the starting fullback, but you also saw, I don't know if you saw that they used Mark Robinson a little bit at fullback yesterday.
Yeah, seen that.
I don't know if that means good things for Mark Robinson, if they're trying to move him from defense to fullback, but I mean, he did play running back at points in college. So the guy is talented. He at least knows how to carry the ball. I'm not opposed to it. He's a big bulldozer and he runs like a madman. I would like to see him play a little fullback in the preseason. You have left tackle Broderick Jones, and we might as well just discuss Broderick Jones, Jerry, because the more that this goes on, the more I am worried, very, very worried about Broderick Jones. They said he came into camp extremely light. He is about 40 pounds lighter than he was at the end of last season, which initially I didn't think much about it because he said he likes to go into camp light. That way he can eat whatever he wants all season.
Yeah, I seen that interview, yeah.
But he's just getting destroyed so far. You know, every play he's getting smoked by Alex Highsmith. You know, it's almost like you're going to have to see Darnell Washington glued to his hip early in the season. And the more that we go on through preseason, especially because they're going to play a game Saturday night, so we're going to get to see that, it's going to be really, really important to see how Broderick Jones looks, because that could be honestly the biggest Achilles heel of this football team.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not opposed. You know, I know he's a starter and you don't want to play starters that much in the preseason. He needs some reps.
Yeah.
He hasn't played left tackle in the NFL pretty much, you know? So he needs the reps. I want to see a guy like that on the field. Not a lot, but I want to see a couple series with him on the field.
Maybe a half.
You know?
Maybe a half.
Yeah, I know we got to see it, you know? And then the Tomlin has to realize, like, hey, everybody else in camp has looked pretty fucking good on your own line, you know, pretty decent. You know, they're holding their own a little bit. Listen, I think it's skewed a little bit just because, you know, I mean, you've heard DK say it. And listen, I don't think DK is really bullshitting. It's the best defense he's ever seen. This is one of the best defenses we, on paper, have had as Steelers fans. And, you know, they're going to win more than the offense.
Right.
You know, that's just what's going to happen. You know,
and they should, because they're the highest paid. They should.
For sure. Of course, you know. And so it's skewed a little bit when you see, you know, shit in the media and on Twitter, like offensive line struggling a little bit. I'm not as worried as some of those people, but a guy like Broderick Jones, I am very, very worried.
He's a vital
Very.
cog. I mean, if he sucks, that's Rodgers' blind side. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he is a vital cog. Now, the one thing, I don't know if we mentioned this last week or not, the one game he did get to start at left tackle at all, the one game he got to start at left tackle was against the Ravens 2 years ago, his rookie year, when
played really well.
played great. He played very, very good. Dan Moore was hurt. He played great. He didn't give up a sack, didn't give up a pressure. And so hopefully it's just a matter of getting him back in his comfortable left side. Everybody said when he was drafted, he came out raw. He was going to have to be developed. I don't know that the Steelers are the best at developing linemen, first and foremost. And second of all, then they moved him to right tackle. So did you stun his growth? Who knows? But that's why I would play him a decent half. I'd play him a good bit in these next 3 preseason games just to get his fucking feet wet. Like you can't go into week 1 and just throw him to the Wolves against a good Jets defensive line and think that he's going to play great.
No.
Moving down the list, you have Calvin Anderson behind him. You might see a decent amount of Calvin Anderson, especially in the preseason. He could be a guy that if Broderick struggles, you slide in at left tackle. Isaac Somalo, left guard. Spencer Anderson, backup left guard. He's kind of a swing guard, swing tackle. Zach Frazier at center, no surprise there. Mason McCormick at right guard, no surprise there. Fatanu at right tackle. Jerry, Fatanu has been a dog.
I heard he's stopping TJ on a lot of fucking plays, man.
That's big. They've had a battle all training camp so far, and it has been Troy Fautanu putting the clamps on TJ. TJ gets one on him here and there, but they've said overall Troy Fautanu is winning the battle. I don't know if that's good for TJ or if he's just not giving him everything because it's preseason, and you don't have to unload the clip to try and beat a guy in preseason, but that's great to hear. That's great to fucking hear that at right tackle, you might actually have a dog. And this comes back to what I told you Fryermuth told me when we played golf. He's like, Kev, that dude is one dude we're not worried about. He is a monster. Like, he is going to be a monster for us. He is good to go. And we don't have to worry about him.
Yeah, as far as the O-line is concerned, Zach Frazier and McCormick going into their second year, they, as Tomlin says, you should see progression. You should see a big jump from year 1 to year 2. So I'm not really worried about them. Fautanu, I'm not worried about. Siamalu, veteran, been in the league for a while now. He's pretty damn good. It's just Broderick, man. That's your question mark. And that's a big piece, man. That left tackle spot. You got to go up against some dogs, man, rushing on the blind side, man. They got some dogs in the NFL. One of the highest paid positions. I think it's pretty much now the highest paid position on defense in football, if I was to guess.
Yeah, so that's where it's going to come down to. Last year, the Steelers gave up the most sacks from their tackle position from weeks 11 through 17. They gave up the most sacks in the NFL from left and right tackle between Dan Moore and Broderick Jones. You just can't have that, especially Rodgers, Jerry, and I know you tweeted this video today of Rodgers going through the drills, and I'll try and get Nick, the producer, to put the clip on here in case you guys haven't seen it. It's a drill where basically he's holding the ball and a coach is kind of swatting at him, and it's a pocket manipulation drill where he's shifting his feet and moving through the pocket left and right around the cones. I mean, he doesn't look nimble at all. I mean, that's just keeping it a whole buck. He doesn't look very fast. Now, Jerry tweets he looks great. He didn't, but we don't know what that drill is supposed to be. But I mean, I don't think he had very nimble feet. I'll tell you that much.
No, a Ravens fan tweeted it, and it went viral, and then I just picked it up and was like the only one who just said Rodgers looks good, elite footwork or something like that. I don't even know what I said, but yeah, like you said, we really don't know, what the drill is. We're not fucking professionals. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know if he intended on being that slow. If that was like the speed we're going to get, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a fucking problem. I don't think it is, though, because I was at Friday Night Lights and, he breaks out of the pocket, play breaks down, he runs to the left side, and he beat a lot of the players until he got to the secondary to the edge. It was like a 15-yard gain. His feet are still faster than I thought that they would be. Rodgers has never been the fastest quarterback, but he's been nimble enough. He's been fast enough.
Yeah.
Guy like him, when you're not running a 4.4 40, how much slower can you get the older you get? You know what I mean? That's never been his game. So I'm not really worried about that. I was more so worried, is his arm going to fall off? And he still has arm talent. He has arm talent aplenty, Jerry.
Oh yeah, everybody's talking about it. Still, I mean, Ryan Clark tweeted it today. He's still got that zip on that ball, man.
Yes.
One thing we haven't really discussed, Kev, as far as Rodgers is these third and inches, those fourth and inches. I don't think you're going to see him sneak the ball.
I don't think you can risk it. So that's where it
No.
comes back to the conversations we had last year. If they're not going to eliminate the tush push, bring me Broderick Jones' big ass in there and put him under center. That big motherfucker, you're telling me, then you put Mark Robinson at fullback behind him and Caleb Johnson at running back. You mean to tell me those three can't push for a fucking foot, 2 feet?
Or Darnell Washington, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Darnell Washington, you bring him in, you play him at quarterback, Mark Robinson at fullback, and then Caleb Johnson at running back. All three of them fucking pound into the middle of that center. Zach Frazier's going to get some push. You should be able to get a first down in that position.
Yeah. You know, that's a spot where they've struggled for a couple of years now, is those third and ones, those fourth and ones, fourth and inches.
Those need to be automatic. That has to be automatic. Not thinking about it. That's a one big thing. The Steelers, too many times the last few years, can't get off that first down when it's third and short, fourth and short. How many times have we seen them? They just can't pick it up.
So many, bro. It's so frustrating. So frustrating.
Yeah, that's going to have to change this year. On the defensive side of the ball, Cam Hayward starter, Isaiah Loudermilk behind him, Keanu Benton starter at nose tackle, Daniel Akwale behind him, but Y.A. Black is behind them. That's another guy. I think they took him in the 4th or 5th round out of Iowa. The dude can play, Jerry. He's a monster too. He's so fucking big, Jerry. Like, that's a guy I really want to see. He should make the roster. I'd be kind of shocked if he doesn't. It's a guy in preseason I want to see because he has a motor. He gets his hands up. He just causes havoc. Yeah. That's one of those guys who's having a great camp. I'm excited to see him play. Derek Harmon, another guy we might have. That might have been a slam dunk pick. Initially, it got a lot of blowback. Why are the Steelers taking another defensive lineman? Well, they just got their dicks beat into the dirt when they played the Ravens, giving up 299 rushing yards on the ground. So it makes sense they take him. But this guy, Jerry, has a motor. Reminds me a lot of Stephon Tuitt, but I think faster and shiftier than Stephon Tuitt was.
Yeah, man. I mean, if he's getting comparisons like that. Listen, Stephon Tuitt people forget he cut his career early, man.
Oh yeah,
he was incredible.
Yes, he was. His brother got hit by a car. It's a very sad story. His brother got hit by a car, and Stephon just never recovered from it mentally, and then hung it up on the Steelers. So, that has been a hole they've been trying to fill. The Steelers have had some bad luck when you look back through losing like pretty star players, high-paid players. Shazier, guys like that either retired early or injury cut their careers short. That kind of stuff hurts. You move down the list here. So you have TJ Watt, obviously, Jack Sawyer behind him, DeMarvin Leal, who might not make the team. I
don't think he will.
This might be it for DeMarvin Leal, honestly. Patrick Queen, Malik Harrison, Peyton Wilson, Cole Holcomb, Mark Robinson, who I hate to say I don't think Mark Robinson makes the team, Highsmith and Herbig. And then we go to cornerback, Darius Slay, Corey Trice, Deshaun Elliott, Chuck Clark, Juan Thornhill, Miles Killebrew, Joey Porter Jr., Brandon Eccles, James Pierre, who's having this. James Pierre somehow just is fucking. He must have dirt on Mike Tomlin.
I don't know how he's still around.
He's always on this roster come September. I don't know how it does it.
Because he doesn't even like, even when he's in the game, he's not good.
No, he doesn't really make a splash. That's what I mean. More power to him, man. As a cornerback 5, I can live with it. I just hate seeing him on the field. And then you go Jalen Ramsey and Beanie Bishop as your considered nickelbacks, but I would be kind of shocked if Jalen Ramsey isn't on the field a lot more than just in nickelback situations.
Yeah, I've seen that too on the roster. There hasn't been much talk about Beanie Bishop at all this year.
And that's, I thought there were moments last year with Beanie Bishop where he was decent. I mean, he has the 2 interceptions against Rodgers in that Jets game. Yeah. He splashed at sometimes. I mean, he had, I want to say 3 or 4 interceptions. As an undrafted rookie, that's pretty fucking good. He had a nose for the ball. It's just, he did get beat at times. He was out of position at times. That's a rookie though. That's a rookie thrown to the Wolves in a zone scheme where the communication we've now come to hear was not great. The communication was not great. That's something that I want to say Peyton Wilson had mentioned in an interview earlier in the week. He said the communication this year is something that we focused heavily on because there were oftentimes last year where communication was not great. And, I had heard some rumblings through the grapevine that maybe Minka was not the loudest vocal leader in that secondary. So you couldn't really hear a lot of the signals and communication coming from Minka. So that's a big thing. It's insane how many times we have said this in the last 3 seasons of recording this show late in the year. How are they still having communication issues? How do they not know where they're supposed to be? So I love to hear that that's a main focal point in training camp, is their focus on the communication, because Jesus, man, after week 3 or 4, it shouldn't be about communication issues anymore.
No, bro, of course not. What I'm like most excited for right now is like I'm watching, following on Twitter, camp and highlights, and watching Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin's just like a little bit different this year. He's a little bit more like, you got like a little bit more confident. You could see when he speaks and stuff like that. And listen, people can hate on Mike Tomlin, and we do sometimes on this show, and we don't agree with everything he does. You know what I mean? But there's something telling me he knows this is a different type of team this year. I don't know. It's just from what I see.
It better be. It better be, Jerry, because if not, 9 years, no playoff wins, when you're bringing in 41-year-old quarterbacks and you're handpicking the free agents you want to bring in and you're trading players, they're trying. They're at least trying. But it's the point of trying needs to eventually come to results. And so, I ride Tomlin's ass. We got a bunch of comments in the YouTube like, oh, it's funny, you're going to give Tomlin a chance. By week 4, you'll be calling for his head again, which is very possible, because I do not believe Mike Tomlin is a great X's and O's coach. And until I'm proven otherwise, I will have that belief. He gets out coached a lot. He does get out coached a shitload.
Oh yeah, a lot. He does. I will say that. The misuse of timeouts all the time, year after
challenges.
year.
I mean, he's just not. He's just not what he's cracked up to be, in my opinion. But I always give him a chance.
Every player loves him.
That's exactly it. They all talk. So look at the things Rodgers has said about Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, they all love him. Okay, great. Then play for him in January. I want to see results then. I just want to see fucking results. I used to love Mike Tomlin. I used to go to war for Mike Tomlin. But after 9 years, no playoff win, something has to change. That's I won't talk any more shit about Mike Tomlin until we get into the season and it's warranted. That's where I'll end the Mike Tomlin talk. Jerry, who are you most excited to see play?
Regular season or preseason?
Preseason. Let's start with the game.
I mean, offensive side of the ball, I would say. Offensive side of the ball, I'm probably with you on the Rock Taylor. Defensive side of the ball, I would say Jack
Sawyer. I think for me, personally, I'm going to go with Roman Wilson, Jerry. I want to see Rome play. I want to see Roman Wilson play. I think he needs to be a contributor to this offense. He's basically a rookie. He's basically a rookie. And in the last couple of days in camp, we've heard he's made some big plays with Rodgers, with the ones, 25-yard catch over the middle of the field. He skied over Darius Slay and made a crazy catch. He scored a touchdown today in 7-on-7 drills. Rodgers rolls out of the pocket, finds him in the end zone on a diving catch. Roman Wilson, coming out last year, I had high hopes on because he was pretty damn good at Michigan. Like the guy just didn't forget how to play football. For whatever reason, he fell into the same pipeline as Calvin Austin did, where he just basically redshirted his rookie year, maybe to get him ready. Who knows why the Steelers do that with some of their wide receivers, but I am excited to see him play. Rock, I want to see play pretty heavily. Defensive side of the ball, for me, it's probably Derek Harmon, just because that defensive line, if Derek Harmon can be a dog on that D line, Jerry, they finally will have a stout ability to stop the run, where teams aren't going to be able to gash them. And look at the teams that we play in the AFC North. The Browns, while they're fairly irrelevant, they're going to be a run heavy team. The Ravens, the team that looks like that's who you have to beat in the AFC North, they're run heavy. You stop their run, you force Lamar to make plays with his arms, and that's when Lamar gets himself in trouble.
No, listen, I think honestly, the way they drafted and what they bought in this year, I think it's a recipe to beat the Baltimore Ravens. I don't really think they care about the Cleveland Browns.
No.
And while the Bengals are good, they neutralized it with, Jalen Ramsey. So you got Jalen Ramsey, Slay, and Joey Porter. They can match up with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I'm not saying they're going to stop them every play, because they're not. but they're going to slow them down a little bit. And the D line and the secondary, that's going to be the key, man. That's going to be the key. Obviously, offensive line, they didn't make no splash. You know what I mean? They have Fatano coming back, but listen, I don't blame them because you can't just go and sign a left tackle for 30, 40 million. You know what I mean? You just can't do that. You have Broderick Jones, you invested in him already. Yep. So I don't blame them for not going and getting a left tackle. You got to see what Broderick got. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm excited, man. Derek Harmon, like you said, I'm super excited to watch him play. Do you think he's going to play much, though?
I think you'll see him a decent amount. I mean, the Steelers play their rookies, even though they're going to be starters. The Steelers play their rookies. They give them chances. Caleb Johnson, I think we'll see a decent amount of Caleb Johnson. I don't want to go crazy on the running backs because that is a position where you can have injuries. And this time of year, you lose a guy. It's fucking devastating to lose a guy in the preseason that's out for 6-8 weeks just because of a stupid injury. I think you will see Caleb Johnson. I'm excited to see a good bit of Caleb Johnson. It's mostly the unfortunate part is that now we're going to have to see a lot of Skylar Thompson. And I thought I had written Skylar Thompson off. He wasn't going to make the team, in my opinion. They weren't going to carry 4 quarterbacks. Now he might sneak his way onto the roster. A guy like that, for me personally, just
how do you think he's going to sneak his way on the roster?
What if they put Will Howard on the practice squad? What if they practice?
You think they do that?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but it's not. I just see no value in Skylar Thompson other than being a camp body. But what if he goes out there and he plays great, and then Will Howard's out for a month, and the season is here in a month, and then you're like, well, let's just put him on the practice squad. The problem is, you put a guy like Will Howard on the practice squad, there has to be at least one team in the NFL that poaches him.
Oh, 100% in a second. That's why I don't think they're going to do that. I don't know.
I don't know that you could risk that.
Yeah, you can't risk it. You can't. I hope they don't do that. That would fucking suck.
Yeah, it'd be terrible. That'd be absolutely terrible.
So yeah, we won't see him at all.
No. Let's see.
How did he hurt it? He banged it?
He smacked it off someone's helmet when he was coming through on the follow-through. Smacked his hand off someone's helmet, broke it.
Why are they that close? Oh, well, full pads.
Yeah, it's full pads. I mean, he's also a rookie, so he's probably still making throws. He probably shouldn't, a vet would know this is a little bit too hot. I'm not going to make this throw. Why risk the injury? So guy like him, he's doing everything he can to prove that he can play. So it's not crazy to see him try something.
Yeah.
Jerry Don, is there anything else you want to cover this week? I mean, there's obviously not a ton to talk about until we get beyond the game. We'll have a ton to talk about after we see them play a game, but is there anything else we haven't covered so far you want to get to?
As far as the team goes, no, not really. I mean, we covered a bunch, so far this episode. One thing, we haven't really talked about is Darnell Washington in camp, man.
Yes.
He's making some big plays. It seems like Rodgers really loves him. If you're a fantasy football player out there, I'm not saying Darnell Washington is your tight end 1, but there's a spot for him on your fantasy football team. I think he'll get a lot of red zone touches this year.
I think that's a terrible take, personally.
What?
I would never touch Darnell Washington in fantasy football. Well,
at the end of the draft, yeah, why not?
No way. No, if there's only 12 teams, nobody's carrying 2 tight ends usually, especially not a fly. And if it's a deep league, maybe I wouldn't touch him personally because, Jerry.
I got to take Darnell Washington 6 touchdowns this year.
Under.
6.
Under. But I will say this. They did run 4 tight end set the other day in camp. Yeah. They ran a 4 tight end set and he scored the touchdown. So, that is something if you have very few receivers, but you have a shitload of talented, big bodied tight ends, why not throw them out there and just bully smaller corners, find the mismatch?
Yeah. You know what I see? I see him lining up against, these fucking 6-foot corners. And all Rodgers does is just throw the ball up, and he just goes and grabs it.
Right. I mean, you're not out jumping that guy. He's going to box you out like a giant center would in the NBA. You're not getting to that ball. So, it's not crazy to say 6 touchdowns. I would still say under.
Week 1. I'm taking him week 1 touchdown score.
Oh, I love that you're already getting into the betting because coming off of last year, I owe Jerry this season 2 front row seats to a Steelers game. Jerry's coming to town Monday night for the Dolphins game, so it looks like we'll be sitting front row that week. But yeah, no, I would still take the under. I love that you're high on him because in my mind, he's going to be the guy that helps mask any failures that we're going to have out of Broderick Jones. I think
yeah.
you'll see him attached to his hip, and they played together at Georgia. Maybe they find something there. I wouldn't even, I know this sounds crazy. I wouldn't even be upset if he just said, I'm going to bulk up and try to be the left tackle. Because when you watch him in blocking drills against, edge rushers, he is a freak. Like you cannot get by this guy, Jerry. He's too big. He's too long. He's too strong. He anchors his ass well. Like he's a great blocker. And there are people on Twitter saying, oh, he might not even make the team. I think that's absurd to say. He's definitely making the fucking, he's their best blocking tight end. He's making the roster.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm high on Darnell Washington, not fantasy football. I don't know that Jerry's a big fantasy football guy, so let's not take our fantasy football advice from Jerry Don here. I would never draft him in fantasy football. Not ever. You're not drafting a third tight end to be your tight end in fantasy football.
I'll tell you what, last year I drafted Bucky Irving with the last pick in the draft.
Yeah, he was great, though. He ended up going on to be the starting running back in Tampa Bay. That's
I
not crazy.
I know how to pick him late.
Yeah.
I know how to pick him late.
Jerry, if that fucking guy has, I'll say this. If Darnell Washington has more than 6 receiving touchdowns this season, I will give you $1,000.
Done. That's easy.
I can't see it. That's one of those wild ones I just can't see happening. You guys asked us in the comments, you wanted us to take some of your questions. So this one, I actually thought was a great question. Jerry, Travis Pick 5160 says, what is your most prized Steelers memorabilia? I'll let you start and then I'll go.
Wow. I think, it was last year, me and TJ were golfing with Nick Herbig and in Wisconsin, and we had a great time, great day, had lunch, and we were walking back to the car. And TJ was like, yo, I got something for you. And it was a game used jersey, signed to me, with, really nice paragraph on it. And I think it was from his 90th sack.
It was.
So that was pretty awesome.
I'm pretty sure when we looked into this, it was the sack that made him the Steelers' all-time sack leader. I want to say, I'm pretty. Yeah, it was a big moment. It was. We looked it up. It was a huge. And Jerry, what'd you ask him? You asked him, if you break the record, can I get that? Can I get that?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know about that one, Jerry.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll tell you what, but that's probably my biggest prize possession.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. It's not the jersey hanging behind you. This is obviously a graphic behind Jerry, but it is a sick jersey. I had to think about this one because I have a ton of Steelers memorabilia. Like I have signed Ben jersey behind me, Polamalu signed shit, Hines Ward Gotham jersey, personalized Casey Hampton. Like I have a lot of really, really nice signed Steelers memorabilia. But when I got to thinking about it, my most prized, like what would kill me if I lost it? It's just a simple answer. I'm 36 years old. I turned 36 2 weeks ago. And since the day I was born, Jerry, my dad had donned me in this original terrible towel. All right. Look at this thing. It has seen every game I've ever watched for 36 years. I mean, it's tattered. It has seen 28 NFL stadiums. There have Super Bowls on this thing, tears. I mean, it was once taken from me at a Chicago Bears game. A kid took it and ran like close to half a mile, and I'm not a runner, so it took me a while to catch up, but I ultimately caught up to him. He gave it back. He's like, damn, dude, I was just fucking with you. I didn't think you'd actually run me down. But this towel is like from my dad. It means the fucking world to me. 36 years, I've never watched a Steelers game without this towel in my hand. So without a doubt, that is my most prized Steelers memorabilia. Is it a $10 Steelers towel? Absolutely. Is it worth significant? It's priceless to me. And to me, that's how like that's your most prized possession.
Yeah, that's priceless. I always wondered, every time we go to the Steelers games together or meet up in Pittsburgh, I'm like, this towel's a piece of shit. What's he doing?
Yeah, it's beat. I mean, it is destroyed, tattered. It is absolutely fucking destroyed. But I would never ever use another towel. I will be buried with that terrible towel. There's no doubt in my
Yeah,
mind.
that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. If you got to be buried with
Yeah,
that.
I will be buried with that one. It means the world to me, that terrible towel. So I would never want to swap that one out. But yeah, I'm not one of those people that walks around with a new towel every week. This thing has only been washed one time ever. And this is fucked up story, but I'll tell it quickly. The only time this towel has ever been washed, it was my ex-girlfriend. Also why she's probably an ex-girlfriend. She brought bad vibes on this thing, Jerry. She hated the way it smelled because it doesn't smell good. I mean, think about it. This thing has seen fucking tailgates, beer, everything you can think of. She washes it. I get it out. I'm like, where's my terrible towel? Steelers have a game this week. They're playing the Seattle Seahawks. Can't find my towel. Where the fuck's my towel? She's like, oh, I washed it for you. Not knowing you never washed this towel. The very next game, 3 days later, Jerry, 3 days later is the game where Ben blows his elbow out.
Oh my God, really?
Yes. So there's a part of me that feels broken, as if maybe I had some bearing on that. Yes. So ultimately, that is my most prized Steelers memorabilia. Why don't you guys tell us in the comments what your most prized Steelers memorabilia is? I love to hear that. That's the type of shit that I'm into.
Yeah.
We had a great first episode, Jerry. The comments were phenomenal. The people are so happy to have us back doing the show, which makes me feel fucking good about doing the show. We had a lot of views, a ton of views for our first episode back, which is incredible. Make sure you're sharing it, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you guys.
We should sell some merch at the tailgates, Kev.
That's another thing. There are tons of people on Twitter and the YouTube comments always asking.
Yeah, let's just sell some merch. Let's just, buy a bulk and we'll fucking sell some merch.
Yeah, we'll get some Steel Here merch for the tailgate. The Terrible Tailgate will have some huge guests this year. The tailgate landed a really big sponsorship in Pond Lee Hockey. So they are going to give us the ability to bring in some elite Steelers players now moving forward, which we've always had. I've had some great players at the tailgates the last few years, but we're going to really be able to up it this year. So if you guys are coming, we will be able to sell Steel Here merch at the tailgate. We're going to look into some proofs first, see what we like, and then we'll show you guys it from there. And if you guys are interested, by all means, let's get it put together and get some merch on the streets.
Yeah, if you guys got any, obviously me and Kevin don't really know anything about designing and whatnot, but if you wanted to, mock something up, send us a DM to the Steel Here Twitter or something. That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can help us. Jerry and we're not the most tech savvy. Like, just putting this show on, it was supposed to come out last, I want to say Monday evening. Jerry couldn't even get logged into the YouTube to get the show out on time.
No, I don't know. I'm bad with computers, man. Bad.
Yeah, terrible. Absolutely. The only time I ever use a computer is when we record this show. Other than that, I
me
never use a fucking computer. So
no, me either.
It was great. It was a great week, great episode. We appreciate you guys. Continue to like, comment, subscribe. As soon as we get those subscribers up to 20K, Jerry and I are going to give you guys some cash like we discussed last season. So we're closing in on 20,000. We appreciate it. Jerry, is there anything you want to add?
No, man. Listen, it's going to be a fun year. We're excited that we're back, back-to-back weeks now. And we'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. Here we go, baby. We'll see you next week.
We're here. We're still here.
We are still here.